Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Steven Universe review. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Adventures in Spacelight Distortion. Now, again, this is one of the leaked episodes, and I'm taking a look at it while it's leaked, but make sure to support the official release. You can do that by watching the show when it officially airs. I think this episode airs on the 31st of January. You can also buy the episode on iTunes, or another way to do it is you could buy official Cartoon Network Steven Universe merchandise. I'm not telling you you have to, but if you really want to support the show, those are ways to do it. But with that all being said, let's get right into the episode. So it starts off, Garnet and Steven get back, right? In the last episode, Greg was abducted by Blue Diamond, and they tell Pearl and Amethyst about it, and they kind of panic, and it's like, oh, well, not panic really, but it's like, oh, where could he be? And it's like, oh, and Steven's like, oh, is Blue Diamond gonna eat him? Is he gonna put him in a zoo? And it's like, well, they could put him in a zoo. Pink Diamond did have a human zoo. Which, okay, Pink Diamond. There tends to be two sides of the Pink Diamond coin. One says that Pink Diamond was a cold, vengeful person, right? Like, she was evil. And was eventually usurped by Rose. The other side of the coin says that Pink Diamond was a really nice and caring person. And that she may or may not be Rose. Again, either of those kind of work. Now, I always kind of believed in the latter, but from everything they say right here, I think the former is true. They talk about Pink Diamond's reign of terror, how she used to abduct humans from their families and put them in her zoo as trophies. I think she was that vengeful, evil person. And yeah, I think this episode confirms it. So that's it. It's interesting that this is more. It's not 100% confirmed because again, the Crystal Gems do kind of have a bias, and we'll get to bias later on in the week. But yeah, it's interesting. So to go to space, they're going to use the Roaming Eye, which is the Ruby ship, and they have Peridot do some maintenance or check it up to make sure it's safe for Steven to fly in and all that. And they go and Steven calls Connie and is like, oh, we're leaving right now. Protect Beach City while I'm gone, right? Keep things safe. And when Garnet gets on the ship, she looks back at Lapis and Peridot and says, well, you guys stay here and protect Beach City from anything that happens while we're gone. I swear to you guys, if episode 16, right, after the next 3 episodes, right, the episode after these, right, 16, if it isn't about Peridot, Lapis, and Connie protecting Beach City from like a gym monster or just from something in general, I am going to be severely disappointed. They're foreshadowing this. Just boom, there's 2 segments of foreshadow right here. It's such an obvious thing. It'd make for such an interesting episode. But they have to do it. But there's a part of me that's like, they're gonna squander this. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't touch it at all. But I really think they should. I hope they do. Again, there's just too much foreshadowing. But yeah, so yeah, episode 16, whatever that is, it better be about Lapis, Peridot, or at least I hope it is. Because, again, it's such a great idea. But yeah, so they go up into space, and, right, they're flying the ship, and they hit 3 of the rubies on their way out of Earth's atmosphere, whatever. So, again, it's still kind of complicated on where the rubies are in space, but how did they end up hitting 3? I mean, like, you have all of space. And they're like, we really should do something about that. Right? So, Pearl says that, oh, we're going to be there in 70 years when Greg's 110. It's like, nope, that won't work. But they're worried to activate the gravity engine or whatever it's called, because it might destroy Steven and turn him into a mound of flesh and bone. And Amethyst, and they're like, Amethyst doesn't like bones, but yet she has bones in her room because they're her bones. And when I first heard that, I was like, wait, Amethyst has bones? Wait, that doesn't make sense. I know what they're going for, but that kind of threw me for a loop the first time. And then, so Steven hits the gravity engine, starts, right, it's kind of pulls back, right, we get an interesting shot, and then we cut to the crystal gems, and they're all ruby sized, they're all really short. So it looks like, oh, this episode's going to play up some comedy, right? We see the gems, like, changing size, like, they grow bigger, they grow into, like, diamond size, and then, like, garnet turns into a pancake, and pearl balloons up. It's playing up the comedy, but then Steven hits this giant X, the ship just starts to warp, right? It starts to, like, twist around, and we get this really just like the scene of, like, the gems, like, their gems are just pressed against the wall, and he's, like, panicking because he can't stop the gravity drive, and he's like, oh, I've lost them, why aren't they reforming? Yeah, he's just panicking, right? And the entire time, the vision's, like, the episode, like, looks all weird, because it's kind of like the 3D effect that they use, like, you know, for, like, the red and blue effect they use for 3D movies, but they turn that shit up to 11, and this episode was just hard to look at. Like, this part, oh, it hurt my eyes. There's definitely an epilepsy warning here, I'll give that out. But yeah, it's this really, because he's like, oh, I want my dad, right? That's what he's all about. But it's just, it sucks that it's just hard to watch. But eventually he is able to reach out. He's able to touch the control panel and stop the ship. And all the crystal gems come back. And it's because he basically turned off the calibration. And the ship was going faster than the speed of light. So their bodies could no longer keep up with the ship. So they were all lagging behind. What was Amethyst says, like, I think I went through a planet. Yeah, but so this episode does some comedy, but we get this really serious moment out of just nowhere. I mean, like, it is kind of warranted. I mean, like, it does work enough, but yeah. And then, so they arrived at this sort of space station orbiting around a Saturn-esque planet, and that's where it ends. It's an okay episode. Out of all the episodes that came out in this Steven Bomb, this is probably my least favorite. It's, if anything, one of the things I can say about it is it feels like it's stalling, if you know what I mean. Like, it's taking its sweet time. Nothing is really happening. It's just kind of meandering around. That's not a bad thing. Like, well, not entirely. But, I don't know, I just feel like there could have maybe done more, or, I don't know. Again, it's my least favorite of this bomb, but it's still not that bad. I've definitely seen worse, even from this season. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.